Alright everyone, we're going to do watercolor techniques today. So, you're going to need a cup full of water about halfway, a watercolor palette, a crayon, some salt, and watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is different from regular paper. It's thicker, so the water doesn't leak through the paper onto the table or another sheet of paper if you were to do it in your sketchbook. So you're going to want to go ahead and put your name at the top and then label the parts that we're going to work on today. Alright, so first thing, we're going to work straight across and down. So the first one we're going to work with is the flat wash, which is one solid color. Okay, so you're going to pick up just a tiny bit of water from your water cup, grab a color, dip it into the watercolor that you choose, and then we're going to start by going in one direction first, and then we're going to lay on top in another direction. Now, this is what we don't want. A flat wash is a solid color, so we don't want to be able to see through it. So I'm going to use less water and I'm going to pick up more of the blue, and I'm going to start to make it darker. Okay, the next one is going to be our graded wash. This is going from a dark to a light color, kind of like maybe like an ombre, if you want to think about it that way. So I'm going to grab some water, I'm going to pick a color, and I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to go in the same direction, and I'm just going to consistently start to move down with my brush in the same direction, and you can already see that it's getting lighter as I keep moving down because I keep having less water on my brush and less pigment. So if you want it darker at the top, you can keep adding more and continue those same steps. Keep going down. Now, to blend two colors together, you're going to take two graded washes and kind of mesh them together, going from dark to light so that the light ends up in the middle and forms a different color or blends the color inside the middle part. So I would pick two primary colors so that you get a secondary color. So I'll do red and yellow to get some orange. So I'm going to start on one side, same thing, I'm going to do the graded wash. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to just keep going in the same direction as I get lighter and lighter as I move towards that center. And then I'm going to rinse off my brush. You want to make sure that you're always rinsing off your brush in between colors. I'm going to pick up some yellow, and I'm going to do the same thing, but starting on the other side. And I ran out of paint. So I'm going to do this again. Get some more water and pigment on here. Okay, Okay, and see I start to get an orange in the center. You can also come back with the red again to make it a little bit more vibrant. There you go. Now you have two colors that blend together in the center to make orange. Alright, so dry brushing is using absolutely no water. So you want to take your brush and kind of brush it off on paper towel or a towel. Make sure that it's completely clear of any water. Then you're going to pick up a color. Let's see, I haven't used orange yet. So I've got a little bit of color on there, but no water. And you can tell it breaks up a lot. It's not as smooth. I've got a lot of rigid edges, but it's great for creating any type of texture. All right, next is wet on wet. So I'm gonna lay down one color first, and then I'm going to apply a second color on top. Typically you wanna do a lighter color on the bottom and then a darker color on top, because if you do the dark color on the bottom and let's say you do black and you try to put yellow on top, most likely that yellow is not gonna show up. So instead, you'd want to start with yellow on the bottom. And then rinse your brush off. Grab some black, and then you can add black on top. And because of the water, it's going to spread and move and kind of leak out and make cool kind of designs and effects. The things with watercolor is it's less forgiving, so meaning it kind of does what it wants because you can't really control the way the water is moving. But of course, the less water you have, the more control you're going to have over where the color is going to go and where you want it to go and how you want it to interact with the other colors. Of course, the more water that you're going to add, the more movement those colors are going to have together. So the next one is going to be water, just clear water, and then color on top. I really love this one because it's kind of, it's pretty cool. You don't get to see the color first because it's just water. So if your water's dirty, you're going to need to clean it out, but mine is still pretty clean. So you're going to take water and just lay down the water first. So see, you can't even see where the water is. Then you're going to grab a color and you can just start to, do little dots and effects. So cool. And it just spreads and it kind of makes this cool design that you didn't see coming because the water is clear. So one of my favorites. All right. Move this a little bit. Alright, so next up is going to be our wax resist. Wax resist, you're going to use anything that has wax in it. So today we have crayons. You're going to put down the crayon first, and then you're going to put watercolor over top. And what happens is the wax from the crayon actually pushes the water or repels the water away so that you can still see the crayon through the watercolor. So you can make any kind of design that you'd like. And then you're going to pick a color. And start to lay it on top. Pretty neat. Now I find with this one, the harder you press with the crayon, the more wax you're going to get on the paper. And you almost have to have just the amount of water as well. You have to find kind of like that sweet spot. Okay. Salt. So with the salt, you're actually going to do two things. You can lay down the color first, then add the salt, or do this, no, I'm sorry. You lay down the color first, then you apply the salt. So let's see, what color haven't I used? I haven't used really red. So I'm gonna lay down my color. And then you're gonna take a pinch of salt. And it starts to have like a texture. So just another way to form different types of textures like this one here. All right, so mixing. I put mixing on here so that we could learn how to make different colors besides the ones on the palette. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna actually create what's called a puddle, and you're going to take water and put it on the top of your palette. And then you're going to pick up a color. So let's say I want like a green, like a lime. So I'm going to put some yellow in there. Rinse off my brush in between colors because you don't want to mix these up and ruin these colors. So then I'm going to grab some blue and mix it here. And now I have more of like this limey green color. And then you can take that mixed color and apply it to your board, your paper. So you can also get kind of like different varieties of purple. Oh, and now we have complementary colors here. Oh, that was a happy accident. Okay. All right, so the last two, transparent, is you see through it. So we're going to use more water than we did with our flat wash because we want to be able to see through and be able to see the paper behind it. So I'm going to use a lot more water because I want to be able to see through my color. Splatter. You want to make sure that you have enough water on your brush. You're also going to want to make sure that you're not going to splatter on someone else's work. So get enough water, choose a color, and you're going to tap the end of your brush. Okay, we're not going to flick because then it'll go everywhere. So a controlled kind of splatter, tap close to your paper, but far enough away to where you're not smacking the paper and just tapping lightly the tip of the brush. Okay? And that's it. So to clean up, you want to make sure that your palette is clean. So you want to take a piece of paper towel and probably dab the top and get rid of this water up top here, because if you flip it over, it's going to leak or it's going to ruin our colors by mixing in with these. Okay, so you want to take a small little paper towel and dab it away. You can also dab the tops of the colors here to make sure that they aren't mixing with any other colors. So if, like for instance, this one looks a little dark, so I could take a piece of paper towel, dab the top of this to get rid of that color on top so that the rest of the pigment is still available to use. So I have a nice little cloth here, so I can just kind of Okay, then you want to take your brushes and palette to the sink. You want to make sure your brush is completely rinsed out of water or paint, and set it bristles up in the water or in the paintbrush cup, because if we put it the other way, then we're going to ruin our bristles and they're going to be stuck like that. Okay, and just clean up your table. Make sure you wipe down the table as well, because some classes are not painting, so if you got water or any paint here, you want to make sure you're also wiping that down. And then your name needs to be on the top, and this goes to the drying rack to dry, and then you can put it in your sketchbook once it's complete. Thanks.